Hey, folks. Yeah, we should be good. I'm going live here now. It's one last thing for me to do because it's going to be a crazy night tonight. It's going to be very, very, very busy. You can any comments or anything that you want to put out, drop them out here. We're going live on air at 5 minutes past, just after 5 past 8. But as I said, you can get me here. Look, if you can't get me anywhere else, you can get me here. You can phone in. Phone lines are going to be open all night. 800 905 0989, and the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Lots to get through. A lot of stuff to get through tonight. Feel free, comment here. Any information you have about anything, if it's about gas stations, restaurants, where people can get like ice, people need ice. People need to cool down again. Some people, if there's ATMs that have money, any information you have or need or whatever, drop me a message here. As I say, we're not live on radio yet. We will be in a couple of minutes, but I just said I'd come on here early and chat to people. Any comments you want? If you want to come on the show, phone in 800 905 0989. But for now, I'm going out on here. But yeah, in a couple of minutes, I'll be going live on air, so you can get me there. So you're getting a quick pre-show. There you go. Listen, lots of stuff has happened. Lots of stuff is going on. I'm going to mute the mic for a minute because I have a couple of things to do. But as I say, the show will be going live just after 8 o'clock. All right. As I say, we'll be going live very soon, guys. So any information, anybody that's just joined us, any information you have about anything, if there's open gas stations with gas that are taking cards or cash, drop me a message. If there's anything you want to talk about, anything at all, if there's restaurants open, if you're I know this is a massive one, but if you're offering services to anybody, get on to me here. Um, I can broadcast it out. We're looking after everybody as best we can, and I'm going to have as much information as best I can. So yeah, we'll be going live in a couple of minutes. Oh no, I just found out Chris Christopherson just died. That sucks. Well, hello there, and you're very welcome to Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald. Going to try and keep you as up to date with everything as I can. That's been happening in the upstate for the last 48 hours. It's been a different one. It's been a little bit crazy. Yeah, we've had a run of it. Opening words tonight are from Sheriff Hobart.
People just need to be patient, be wise, stay home, spend time with your family, spend time checking on your neighbors, and stay off the roads. Let these utility workers, let the first responders have the roadways to do what they need to do. And I promise you, it will shorten the time we're all without this valuable resource that we appreciate so much, and that is having power.
Yeah, so I definitely want to hear everything that you need to tell me tonight. What I'm looking for, if you want to get in contact with me, you can call me on the WORD talk line, which is 800-905-0989, or you can text me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, which is 71307. I want to hear everything. I'm looking for gas stations that are open. I'm looking for restaurants that are open. I'm looking for places that people can get ice. Simple little things like that. ATMs. We've in the last 48 hours, we've really discovered that, bank cards, they're not they're not as great as they once were. Bank cards are not. I went to many places. I tried to get some food. We have food in the house. We're okay. And I'm one of the very few, and that is very lucky to have. We have electricity in the house. Blue Ridge got us back going again. We have electricity, but there's so many out there that haven't. I have the numbers here. I have the outage numbers. I'm just going to go to the outage map, just from Blue Ridge Electrical. In Anderson, there's 1.1 thousand homes just with Blue Ridge who don't have any power. They don't. Up around Seneca, you're looking at Clemson, Seneca area, you're looking at 3.1 thousand houses without power. There's a lot. There's so many people. Everybody's in the same boat. As the sheriff of Greenville County said, we're all in this together. And we are. And I'm going to try and bring as much information as I can. Text line is already hopping. Odi, I'm sitting in the bathroom with 2 battery-powered lanterns, cooking a hamburger and potatoes on a Coleman grill. That's what we need to do. The area around Pickens County is all around Pickens County. That comes from Jim and Easley. Yeah, you got Pickens County. Power is going to be restored. It is going to be restored. Power is going to come back. But just for now, just for another couple of days, we need to just pull together. And here's this is from there was a press conference today in Greenville County, and a lot of the Greenville, the higher ups, if you want to call them. You had the sheriff was there. You had the head of the EMS was there. There was a lot of people there, a lot of information. And this came this morning. This was as at 2:00 today. This is one of the bits of information that was given to me.
Prepare to support yourself for up to 1 week, possibly even longer. Any debris that is being prepared or being cleaned up can be pushed to the edge of the road. Cleanup contractors will begin soon coming through to pick it up. We have identified the need for food and water for those impacted and are working to try to assist with that, and we hope to have an update on that soon. Unless it is an emergency, again, please stay off the roads. We do have a shelter open at Hillcrest High School that currently has 31 people in it. If you have an O2 concentrator, we ask that you do not go to that shelter because they are running on generator power. We do have a medical needs shelter that is now opened up at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena for those who have electricity-dependent medical needs along with their caregivers. If you are not sure if you need a medical needs shelter, you can call the South Carolina Department of Public Health Medical Needs line at 1-855-472-3432. As residents clean up, we encourage you to report your damage through the SC Emergency Manager app. You can find that in the App Store or on Google Play. This will help us with our damage assessment for federal assistance. For those in Greenville County with critical needs for assistance, you can call 864-467-3428. Again, that number is 864-467-3428 between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Only call 911 for an emergency.
So that's one of the big things that we're definitely trying to get across is only call 911 if it is an emergency. There's thousands of crews. I was told today that there is crews coming from Canada. There is electrical crews coming all the way from Canada helping us out. They're coming from everywhere, coming from Georgia. They have problems in Georgia. North Carolina is bad. This is one of the biggest hurricanes, tropical storms. Call it what you will. It was a lot of wind. There was a lot of damage. There was a lot of power outages. It's a scary time. I've never been in a hurricane like this. And I remember, folks, I used to live on the west coast of Ireland, where there is nothing between the west coast of Ireland and America but 3,500 miles in which wind can build up. And I've never experienced anything like this. It was scary. I was scared. I'm not going to lie to you, lying in bed on early Friday morning, and there was no sleep had. There was no sleep at all. On the text line, Odi, remind everybody as a heads up to stock up on a few extra supplies because there is another hurricane coming around in it. They're saying it's on the 4th and the 5th of October. Yes, no, look, it's not going to be as strong. Okay, I was looking at the weather earlier on. There is another hurricane brewing off the coast, but hopefully, like every other hurricane that I've experienced since I've lived here in South Carolina, hopefully it will die down long before that. And I don't want to start people panic buying. I don't want people to start getting, going for your bread and your milk. Get what you need. Don't please don't buy in excess. Don't try to get all of the water or try and get all of the bread, because you got to think of the people that are out there and maybe they can't get to a supermarket or a store. Maybe they can't get straight away, and they might have difficulties, but they will get there eventually. Just leave something if you don't need everything, don't get everything. Get the essentials that you need. Batteries. If you need batteries for your lights, we recommend I have it here. Please don't use candles if avoidable, and to use lanterns that are battery powered. So there you go. You can use battery powered. Text in, Odi, we don't have power here on the west side of Spartanburg. Okay, so west side of Spartanburg have no power. Helpful tip for your listeners: put an empty milk jug in. Yes, so you can put, and you can do it with a bottle of water as well. You fill a bottle with water, an old bottle of water, before you boil it, because you're not going to use this water. Get the big 2-liter bottles of water, and you can put a flashlight up to that, a torch, flashlight if you want to call it, and it will generate. It'll act like a kind of a lantern. It will give out more light. There's loads of little tips, and that's what I want to hear. Send in all your tips. As I said, I want to know what gas stations are open. I want to know what restaurants are open, what restaurants are opening and taking cards, because a lot of restaurants are just taking cash. When I come back, when I come back, we're going to have to hear what Governor McMaster said today. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. Harold, where are you, man? roughly, just whatever county you're in.
I don't know if you heard, but your phones are working again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've checked it. Oh yeah, I've been doing that. Is it coming through all right? I sound.
Yeah.
All right.
I just had it on the TOC.
Oh yeah, it's good, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
We-
We're trying to get ROQ restored to the backup transmitter on the YRD site, but haven't been able to get audio to it yet. Some sort of
I'm
fashion show.
after losing this. There it is. So they wanted, huh? What's fashion show?
Fashion show.
Oh, this is Chris. Everybody, say hello, Chris.
Hi. You guys know me.
Chris is our. My brain is
Studio
not
engineer.
working.
How about
Engineer
that?
and everything.
Officially, my my title is IT specialist.
He's the everything engineer.
I don't get paid like that, but I am.
I'm just gonna mute this. I forgot that mic. Sorry, I didn't know Chris was coming in. Yeah. Oh, I didn't say anything. I don't think we did. All right, we'll be back now in a second, guys.
Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535 or biglou.com.
Talk to Odi at 800-905-0989. Sunday nights with Odi Fitzgerald continues.
Very welcome back to Sunday Nights with Odi Fitzgerald. Now, lots of messages coming in. A lot of people asking me what are the current outages. Well, let me just go over here to my directory of outages. Don't forget, I am taking your calls. Calls live 800-905-0989 if you want to get in contact with any information you may have for me. And the text line is 71307 with thanks to the Common Sense Retirement Planning texts. Now, here we have it. Now, Duke Energy. The outages I have so far is in and around, we'll go with Charlotte. We'll start with Charlotte. I've got 34,000 people. 34 and 7 and yeah, so I've got about 44,000 homes in Charlotte without power at the minute. Back home here to Greenville, we're still looking at a huge number. There's 185,000 in there's 260 because I'm just adding them all up. You've got Malden, I've got Travelers Rest, I've got Greer. In the greater Greenville area, we're still looking at well over 200,000 houses without power. In the Anderson area, there's 70,000 houses that still have no power. And up around Pickens, 18,000 houses. Everybody's doing everybody's doing what they can. I just let me go here and sorry, I'm trying to find everything that I have here. Um, so the sheriff of Greenville County, Sheriff Hobart, was on today, and he was telling us a little bit. Actually, no, I'll tell you what. I was talking earlier on to the public relations officer in Anderson County from the Anderson County Sheriff's Department, and this is what she had to say to me about what's happening in Anderson County at the minute. Joining me on the line now is Shale Remain, the public relations officer in Anderson County Sheriff's Department. What is the biggest problem that we're facing so far today?
Well, I would say the biggest issue right now is all the power outages that we're still continuing to see. Anderson County sits at about 75% without power. So that's roughly about 80,000 homes that are still in the dark tonight.
Mhm.
So really the biggest thing is if we can ask drivers to not be out on the roads tonight. You just don't know until you're right up on it where the debris is, where down power lines might be, trees, things like that. So I know people really want to get their power back on, and we just ask you to pay attention to your neighbors if they need things, and really, pack your patience, because we are in this all together. But crews are working as quickly as they can. When, Helene first hit, there was about 95% of the county that was completely without power. So they have made substantial progress.
Yeah, I mean, as she was saying, they're making huge efforts. Just trying to get that back again. For company workers.
Yeah, so I know there's a lot of confusion as far as trees being down and why they haven't been removed. That will be the very last step. So once they've been pushed out of the roadway, we move on to other areas to get things out of the road. Now, with that being said, sometimes there are cases where trees are entangled in power lines, and it's crucial that our crews don't touch that until Duke Energy or whatever power company comes out to make sure that line is not active in any way, and then they can remove the debris.
Yeah, that's a big one too. That really is a big one too. Is that a lot of people? Yes, I know there's a lot of houses, there's a lot of trees down, there's a lot of power lines within those trees. So if you're going to go and if you're going to take out your chainsaw, and if you're going to try and remove the tree, just remember there probably is a power line in there somewhere. So maybe if it's not in your way, if it's not stopping you from getting where you're going, then maybe leave it alone, wait for the power companies to come out. And the other thing as well is, and this is a big one that was said to me as well, is the power companies, right? If you don't tell them you've no power, they're not gonna they're not gonna know. So it's one thing is, I will tell you all the outages. I told you the Duke Energy, there's still hundreds of thousands of people, of houses without power, businesses without power. But if you can get in contact with them, and I hope you have telephone coverage. If you have telephone coverage, there's a lot of cell towers are down. There's an awful lot of look. Everything is down. Everything is down in some part, shape, or form. A lot of people don't have Wi-Fi. A lot of people don't have internet. But if you want to get in contact with Duke Energy to let them know that you have an outage, if there's an electrical outage in your area, if you just give them a quick call, you can get them on 800-543-5599. That's 800-543-5599. As I said, you can get in contact with me here in the station. I'm on 800-905-0989 if you want to have a chat with, if you want to come on and let me know what's going on. In and around Greenville, still looking for the restaurants that are open, gas stations that have gas. And just remember, if you don't need to go to the gas station, don't go to the gas station. I'm serious about that. If you don't need to go to any of the gas stations, don't go, because you're just going to be taking. Well, here, listen. This is what the Sheriff Hobart had to say today about that.
So what we've seen, a lot of it driven by social media, that there won't be any gas. People are obviously wanting to fill up generators, and a lot of generators have came in today and they're for sale at various areas. So they're filling up gas jugs and anything they can find. We don't see a gas shortage here at all. If you notice, they run out of gas because people have flooded these stations throughout the county yesterday. So all the pumps were closed, and then magically this morning they have gas because we have trucks twice a day that are filling these stations up. People are lined up, tempers are running short. People, I understand they're frustrated. Restaurants are closed and all those things. But this is a time to look at the long haul here and understand that we are not out of fuel. Nobody's going to be out of fuel unless they continue to do what they do and kind of hoard this resource that we have, which is just foolish. Everybody just needs to calm down, stay home. I think they spend more time sitting in line for 2.5, 3 hours, burning half a tank of gas in some of these vehicles just to top it back off. And most of them are cash only. Internet service is down, which affects credit card readers throughout the county. Some internet's coming back up.
Sheriff Hobart there, he was giving a press conference today. If you don't need to go and get gas, don't go get it. Because you're going to be waiting in line. Your car is going to be running. It's not good for your car to have it running. It's not good for it to have left on all the time. You could be waiting in line for a couple of hours. Now, I was very lucky last night. I left the station at 10 o'clock and I was heading back to Anderson, and I stopped off at the Loves. It was the Loves that I got gas on I-85. I think it's exit 32, and they had gas. There wasn't too much of a line. I had to wait maybe 5-10 minutes. But as I say, it was 10 o'clock at night. But I'm not telling you to go out at 10 o'clock at night. Stay off the roads. If you do not need to be on the roads, don't. Definitely don't. Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. Odi, buy one small bottle of plain chlorine bleach to purify water. 2 drops per gallon. Depends on how strong the bleach is. You can find that information online. Go to reputable sources about purifying water. If you have water purifiers, please, by all means, use them. If you have a way to purify water, do boil water. There's a lot of boil water notices in place. Anderson County has a boil water. Starr has a boil water. Greenville County. See, the reason is, and I was trying to get someone on from Greenville Water earlier on. Maybe I might get them on later on. If there's somebody out there from Greenville Water, you want to come into me, give me a call, 800-905-0989. If there's anybody out there that has information about water, what's happening with the water at the minute. As I said, we had a lot of rain. I mean, Lake Hartwell is back up to full pool. We had a lot of rain. It was 7 foot low. It's back up to full pool because we had that much rain. Up in North Carolina, up around Asheville, it's now a disaster area. It's been said it's a disaster area. Odi on the text line says, Odi, there's a lot of outage numbers are high to understand or understand it, especially if you're looking for Duke Energy map. At least 20 homes in 100 yards of my home only showing. See, and that's the thing. If you don't report the power outages, Texter here said that there's on the map, if you're looking at it, that it's not all of them. It's not. It's not all of the power outages. It's not all of them. You need to go on to the number. I'll give you out the number again. Have it here. Give me just 30 seconds. I get it. Number again for Duke Power is 800 543 5599. I will give that out again. When I come back, I'll be giving more updates of what is happening and all the power outages that are happening and how you can get in contact. And I'll have news from Governor McMaster's as well. He was giving a press conference today. All right. Sorry, I was ignoring the stream for a second because I've got so much coming in. Michael, what do you got for me? Gotcha. That's a good one, Michael. It is. I don't know, David. I'll tell you what. I'll talk about it when we come back on, man.
And from Aiken, Edgefield, all the way up here, Pickens, Oconee, all the way over to Cherokee, we've really suffered a blow. As you may be surprised to know that those who chart the likely path of hurricanes and storms, we have local people, but also out in Colorado. The University of Colorado is where most people rely on. But on this particular storm, like others, sometimes they don't go exactly where the predictors say they're going to go. And this was one. We've had others that have been coming at us that have veered off. We've had some that have been going away from.
Sorry, I was listening to McMaster's there. Alrighty. Getting a lot of your text messages in. Odi, yeah, that's all well and good, but what if you have a gas generator? Yeah, no. If it's an emergency, if you need to get gas, go and get it. By all means, go and get it. I'm not telling people not to, but there's a lot happening out there. There's a lot of, I don't want to say crazy stuff, but there's a lot of crazy stuff happening out there. There really is. As I was going home last night, I had to go through what is normally traffic lights. And I'm going to get to Governor McMaster's in a couple of minutes, but there's normally traffic lights there. And it's a four-way intersection. And we've all been told, you all know this, at a four-way intersection, if the lights aren't working, if the signal lights aren't working, you got to treat it as a four-way stop, four-way cross, four-way stop cross. I'm not sure the proper pronunciation of it. So that means that the first person to get there, person on the right goes first, then the next person, then the next person, and so on and so on and so on. I stopped at the line where the stop sign would have been, where the lights would have told me stop, and a car came through, and I went through. And as I was going through, the front of my car was nearly taken off by somebody who didn't stop. Just remember, if the lights aren't working, treat it as a four-way stop sign. Okay. Text in, Odi, can you give me the number of the outage line again? Yep. For Duke Energy, it is 800 543 5599. That's 800 543 5599. So if you're with Duke Energy, then you can get onto them and let them know what's happening. Another texter texted in and said, Odi, how can we boil water? I get it. I understand. Yeah, no, I do. I understand. If you don't have, I mean, there is ways. There is ways. Have you got a grill outside? This is South Carolina, okay? Now, I'm not saying everybody has a grill, but a lot of people have a grill. A lot of people have a griddle pan. They've got ways of cooking outside. There's ways to do it. You can do it. You can go outside. Last night or Friday night, I cooked my dinner on the grill. I cooked venison bolognese. I cooked it on the grill. And I literally was in the house for a few minutes. I was kind of like, how am I going to cook my food? Because I had no power. I was like, oh yeah, just cook it like it was, as I was doing something outside. I have here Governor McMaster's. This is what he was saying. He held a press conference here in Greenville today, and I'll give you a little bit of what he was saying earlier on.
And from Aiken, Edgefield, all the way up here, Pickens, Oconee, all the way over to Cherokee, we've really suffered a blow. As you may be surprised to know that those who chart the likely path of hurricanes and storms, we have local people, but also out in Colorado. The University of Colorado is where most people rely on. But on this particular storm, like others, sometimes they don't go exactly where the predictors say they're going to go. And this was one. We've had others that have been coming at us that have veered off. And we've had some that have been going away from us and come towards us. And this was one that came closer than we had been expecting, based on the predictions that have been made all over the country for where these storms go. But we knew it was coming, and we had our troops ready. But it has caused a lot of damage, as you know. But I want to tell you that we're very sad that we've had 25 deaths that we know of so far that have been a result of the storm. Some people were in the houses and had trees fall on them. Others in vehicles had trees fall on them. 2 volunteers in a fire truck had a tree fall on them. 2 others in a golf cart looking at the other houses, inspecting, had a tree fall on them. We've had one at least who had a generator inside the house or too close to the house. There've been a number of things like that. So we want to urge everyone just to be careful. We don't need any more.
And that's it. Governor Masters there telling everybody, just be careful. Please be careful out there. There's a lot of trees still down. There's a lot of, as I said earlier on, there's crews coming from all over the country. There really is. There is crews coming from Canada. We've had crews coming down from Canada, and they're helping out as best they can. I'm sorry about the audio. It was, as I said, it was recorded outdoors. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that. There's so much that we need to help each other in a little bit. Now, somebody said to me earlier on, Sorry, one of the texts that came in, text came in to me, says, "Can you please translate for Governor Foghorn Leghorn?" I'm sorry. Um, but no, basically what he was saying is that we knew that this hurricane was coming. We were slightly prepared. I'm going to hold my hand up. I wasn't even slightly prepared. I wasn't 100%. No, I wasn't. Because every hurricane that I've ever lived through, whilst I've been living here in South Carolina, there's been a big scare. It's going to be a massive hurricane and it's going to come through and it's going to create chaos. And it didn't happen. So I was thinking the same thing. I had people back in Ireland sending me text messages, uncles and aunts, and oh, are you going to be okay with the hurricane that's coming through? Yeah, no, I'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, okay, it didn't lose that much energy. It's it took. I actually think it took a lot of people by surprise. Nobody was ready for it. I was talking to a couple of sheriff's deputies up in Seneca on Thursday, on Wednesday, and they were like, it could be okay. They said, "Oh, we might be closing the schools." Even like law officers who do a fantastic job, they really do, and they were saying, it'll blow through, it'll be fine. It didn't, and we're suffering the consequences. There's been 25 people have lost their lives because of the hurricane that blew through. 25. So, like, just keep their families in your prayers, thoughts and prayers tonight. There's 25 people who aren't coming home. So just please remember those people. Odi, tell your listeners that Duke Energy number, here's the easy one, is 1-800-POWER-ON. That is 1-800-POWER-ON. Report, please report everything. Report if there's a power line down. If you see a power line down, don't go near it. Don't touch it. If there's a power line down, then you can, call on to them straight away. What are people saying to me here on the text line? There's a lot of text messages coming in. Bleach is an alternative to boiling water. Tell you what, I'm going to look it up in a couple of minutes, and I will see when we go to the ad break. I'll look up what they say about bleach going into boiling water, because I know I was a scout many years ago, and I never remember putting bleach into to purify water. If you have water purifiers, if there's any, who I'd love to hear from, if there's any preppers out there, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot. Bill Frady's a prepper. Bill Frady is prepped. He has MREs. He's got all these stuff going on. Bill, if you're listening, give me a call. But what do people need to do? Preppers, I would listen to them. I know you do. You do all this. People are saying, Odi, you can build a fire. Yeah. On the text line, people say, Odi, build a fire. There you go. You can. It's time for us to get back to our roots. It's time for us to get back to what we used to do, how we used to do it. There's ways to. You think back, our great grandfather, grandparents. Some people, grandparents. They knew how to heat water. They knew how to get water. They could build an outside stove. Do it outside. Don't build a fire inside your house. Please don't do that. As I said, you can get onto me. Yeah, another texter just text in. Texter sent in, build a rocket stove. There's ways to do it. There's ways and means to do everything. Life straws. Texter text in and says, why do we need crews from Canada to be used, not from Texas? Not really sure what you're talking about. I mean, it's help, and the cavalry have arrived. There's more people arriving. Another text that came into me, don't go near. Yeah, no, this is a big one. Please, if you see a crew working, if there's a crew working in your area, if they're cutting down a tree, if they're trying to get power back to you, do not go near them. Stay away from them. I was talking to a couple of police officers today, and they said that they have had to deal, unfortunately, with people who were getting irate and angry and cussing out linesmen. These linesmen, they don't know the area. They're not from around here. They're helping as best they can. Just help them out. That's all I got to say to you, is help them out as best you can. Stay away from them. When I come back, I'm going to be listening to something else that Sheriff of Greenville County said about looting. Yeah, you got to watch out for yourself. A little bit of advice from the Sheriff of Greenville County. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. So I just done a double check. We got a text in earlier on talking about putting bleach into water. Don't do it. Do not. Do not do it. No. I went on to what website is it here? I went onto a website and it said, do not, 100%, it is not advised to do that. Don't. So Just to reiterate, don't put anything into water to make sure you can drink it. You boil water to make sure it's clean. That's the only way. And people have been texting in, how do we boil water if we don't have any electricity? You can light a fire. There's ways. You have a grill. You have a gas grill. You you know the gas grill that you cook on every Sunday? You do your bacon on a Sunday morning? Yeah, use that. That works. Now, somebody in the press conference this morning and today, earlier on today, Sheriff Hobart was asked, has there been any reports of looting and what would happen if anybody was caught looting?
We've had no looting. We've had, matter of fact, anybody who's listening that may be thinking of looting something here, just know that the business owners are staying in their stores. They're very well armed. They're protecting their property. Us, as well as the coroner's office, will be glad to come deal with that, because you certainly won't need EMS, because people are protecting what is theirs right now. They're about 500 calls behind. So I don't advise anybody, obviously, doing that. But again, that's social media stuff that is taken off. One person makes a comment, somebody picks it up and takes off with it. It's all just a bunch of hogwash. No, it hadn't happened.
Yeah, that's something else as well. Don't believe everything you say, or don't believe everything you read on social media. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody makes comments. Some people just want to watch the world burn, and they're going to put stuff out on social media. Don't listen to it. That's the thing. If you're thinking, well, all of the police departments and all of the sheriff's departments and all of the law enforcements are out looking after the world, and no, don't even think about it, because you just heard the sheriff there. A lot of people are staying in their businesses. They're protecting their own businesses. And he said he's more than happy to arrest people. On the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, Odi, lots of people saying looters might get lead poisoning. You never know. They might. Odi, evening Odi, people need to, they need to get themselves some of the Ryobi and Craftsman and the battery operated tools. You've got the DeWalt, you've got all of those different brands. They make adapters for the batteries. They're not crazy expensive. They're not. I believe that the DeWalt ones, I mean, there is the other ones, Craftsman's, Ryobis, you can plug something into those. Now, I'll check it out, what they can power. I'll see what they can power for you. But that's something as well. USB adapters. There's a lot of all right. So power lines are down. There's a lot of the cell towers have no power as well. So there might be people in your neighborhood, in your subdivision, who don't have access to phones, can't get hold of anybody. So just with that being said, it might not be any harm to have, just to check on a few of your neighbors. If you've got elderly neighbors, then by all means check in on them. There could be people that need help, and they might not know how to ask for it. They might not know how to get it. So, it mightn't be a bad thing. I checked in. I've got neighbors. If they're listening, they're going to know that I'm calling them elderly, but they are. I checked in on them, made sure they were okay. Just quick little check in. Do you need anything? No, we're fine. They had a generator. They were good. On the stream, don't forget we are on the stream. David made a comment and he said, this is an excuse to go hunting for deer. I will have proper meat. Yes, it is deer season and it is bow season. So, you can get out there and you can get some of your meat. I'm still looking for information about gas stations. If you've gotten gas today, if there's a gas station near you that is open, that is selling gas and other stuff, not just gas in them. If there is a gas station open that has gas, has electricity, if they have a card, if you have to pay by cash, then let me know. get me on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307, or you can call me in on the WORD talk line, which is 800 905 0989. And I want to hear how you have fared out so far. I want to hear about what you're missing most. I know on Friday I was walking around the house, going from room to room. I read a couple of books. Going from room to room, I was turning on light switches. How much we have come to know that we need electricity. We rely on electricity so much. But yeah, it's just something like that. Texter says that the gas station in Sphinx in Garlington is open. Another texter says, make sure that your listeners know they can only go deer hunting if they have a license. Yes, yes. Well, I did mention the tags. Texter. So if you have your license and you have your tags and you have all that, then you can go and you can hunt your deer. And the same people should not be starting fires if you have a fire pit. Okay, I'm going to say this to y'all. If you have the means of making, if you have a means of generating a fire, if you have a grill, if you have a barbecue, well, call it whatever you want, if you have a fire pit, if you have the means of doing it, if you have the means of doing it safely, then do it. Now, and I mean safely. I'm not telling people to go and start fires. Not. If you have the means to be safe while you're doing everything like that, then please, by all means, do what you have to do. But make sure you're safe. Have your garden hose, your water hose near you in case the fire gets out of control. But don't go into a forest and start lighting fires. That's seriously, is there people out there that I need to tell don't go into if you're going to do it safely. I will get to your calls. I can see you calling in. I get to your calls in a couple of minutes. They're saying that Spinks in Paris, is it Paris Bridge in Spartanburg, they're open and they take cards. Exit 35 has power. That's on I-85. Power station is there. People are saying to me, Coleman camp stoves, they use propane. Yeah, you can use those as well. You can use your grill. You can use your barbecue. Your any way you have to heat food outdoors. By all means, use it as much as you can. Yeah. And now, when I come back, I'm going to be getting more of your texts, and I'm going to have some information from SLED, so you can check that out. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WORD, it's the voice of the Carolinas. News Talk 98.9. Yeah. Well, there you go. See? Perfect. Yeah. I certainly will. Mm-hmm. Perfect. I will say that. And that's the crocodile in Simpsonville. Is it the clock, or the crocodile? Oh yeah, I got it. Another one. Yep. Cracker Barrel. Yep. Yep. I will. I'll mention that. Mhm. Oh yeah, you see, there you go, there you go. Listen, thank you very much for your call, and continue to listen, and I'll give you as much updates as I can. Thank you very much. You too, madam. Thank you. You know, your fridge, your freezer, if you're not opening the doors constantly, they're going to stay cold. They are going to stay cold. You don't need your power on all the time, and especially during the day. We are blessed that the hurricane. No, we're not blessed that the hurricane happened. We're not, but we're blessed that it happened at this time of year. Can you imagine if it had happened 2 months ago when we were 100 degrees of heat? My AC unit died on me, and I had to get it fixed. I fixed it myself, but I'm able to do that. It was 97 degrees inside my house at one stage because the power was, or my AC unit died. If you don't need it, like, you may not need fans. Some people say, "Oh, I can't sleep without a fan." I bet you can. I bet you can. You know, the person there that text in and say, "Be conservative with your electricity. Run it for 2 hours. Leave it off for 3." If you don't need it on at nighttime, if you don't need the power on at nighttime, like when you're asleep, don't run it. You're going to save gas. You're going to save money. Power may come back on. Oh, here's the thing as well. Power company was a friend of mine that works for a power company was in contact earlier on. Turn your porch light on. Even if you've no power, turn on your porch light, because there is people going around to the different subdivisions and they're checking on your power. They're checking to see what power outages are still there. So if you've got your porch light turned on, they can drive by the house and say, "Oh, power's on that house. We're good." So if you've got no power, turn on your porch light. Even if you do have power, turn on your porch light. You know, it's going to be there. Now, something else that was said earlier today in the press conference, Sheriff Hobart, he said something else about scammers. This kind of boiled my blood a little bit, but I'll let you listen to it.
Scammers. We've had several calls and we've ran into them. They're out with chainsaws coming up to your house. They see a tree laying on your house and they're willing to cut it down. All they need is a $500 deposit, and they'll be back shortly to do that. Don't give anybody a deposit for any work. If somebody's working at your home and they've completed that work, then you pay them. But do not, under any circumstance, give anybody a deposit, especially somebody you don't know, because there'll be a lot of folks here for that. Deal with reputable people who are insured, who are going to take care of your home just like it was theirs. That make sure they have a license, they have insurance, and all those things. Don't give anybody any money for anything they didn't do. Unfortunately, a lot of folks like to prey on people who are in a bad situation and panicking, thinking they're going to get something done quickly or cheaply. Not going to happen. They're going to take advantage of it. I suggest you document the damage you have to your home, take photographs of it. You know, neighbors are helping neighbors right now. A lot of reputable tree folks, construction folks are out offering their services, and roofing folks and all that. Make sure you know who you're dealing with. Do not become a victim under any circumstance. And it's very disappointing to see people come here from other areas and people that do live here that are willing to take advantage of people who just don't know any better, that are in a bad situation. We get those calls. We will find you. We will put you in the jail, where we do have a generator and you can have all the power and bologna sandwiches you want. But that's where you're going to wind up for taking advantage of people during this situation. Any other questions?
And that's the thing. Be aware of first of all, you should do it all the time anyway. You really should. If someone comes to your house offering a service, get their identification. Take a photograph of their ID. If they show you their ID, take a photograph of it. Do not give them a deposit. Just don't do it. Once the work is done, you know, if they say, "Oh, well, you know, you give me," as the Sheriff Hobart was saying there, Sheriff Lewis was saying, give me $500 deposit, and I'll be back later on, and I'm going to cut down all those trees, and I'm going to make sure that everything is good and hunky-dory. Don't do that. Don't do that. If they say, "Well, I'll be back in 5 hours," yeah, well, come back in 5 hours, and you can cut it down. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. The Odi, the guy on the news station, he said, don't go anywhere. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here. So please don't fall for scams. There's people out there who are going to try and remove you from your money at any stage, cost, whatever it is. Make sure you get ID. Make sure you get, make sure they're a reputable person. If they're a reputable person, they will have no problem giving you their ID. They will have no problem giving you their business card. They will no problem saying, look up, you can have a look at this and you can see all the reviews online. They can do that. On the text line, Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, Odi Costco and Sam's in Spartanburg. They have been open that I know of. Odi, the coolest thing today is I met 3 heroes from FEMA going around to help document damages. Showed them my neighbors' homes with trees in them. There was 3 guys. They were ripped guys, apparently, from Louisiana. Well, there you go. Every cloud has a silver lining, and the texture goes on to say, "Thank God for all of our first responders." And yes, and I, when I was back in Ireland, I was a first responder for a while, and I know what they're going through. Just remember, all of the people, all of the deputies, all of the police officers, the National Guard are being called in now. They're going to help out. Ambulance drivers, paramedics, doctors, nurses. They're not at home. The countless crews that are outside in, like, I know it's not raining. It's a nice evening. It's a nice evening to be working outside, but I don't want to be doing their work. They all have families and homes to go to. They want to get everything done as quick as possible. Please let them do their work. Let them do what they're there to do. Because they're helping you out so much. They are. They're getting your power up because they know you need power up. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. It's no problem, David. That's what I'm here to do, man. Sorry. So I told you I would give you the numbers for the outages. I'm just looking at the map here. This is just the Duke Energy numbers in and around the Greenville area. Just in and around the Greenville area, there is 462,000 households without electricity that they know of. As I said to you earlier on, if you want to let them know that your power is out, they already have an idea of where there is power outages, but you need to let them know that you still have a power outage. If you let them know, I'm not saying that they're going to get to you straight away. I'm not. They're going to get to you when they can. There's a lot of crews working out there. There's thousands and thousands of men and women out looking after everybody. They're trying to get the power on as quickly as possible. As I said earlier on, they've got homes to go to as well. Okay. So in and around the Greenville area, there's 462 reported outages. In and around the Clemson, Seneca area, there is 216,000. Charlotte, just for Duke Energy, is 126,000. And in and around the Anderson area, you're looking at, just with Duke Energy, is 9,000. Now, I do know that there is different companies. Blue Ridge is reporting up on 3,000 or 4,000 houses without power. So yes, there is a lot of houses out there. Yes, they still have problems with power. I was talking earlier on as well about contractors. If they're coming in to do any work, if there's people going around knocking on your door and saying, "Oh, hey, buddy, I see that you've got a couple of trees down. Well, I've got a chainsaw and I can help." If they are real contractors, now I'm after getting texts in from real contractors to the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line 71307. Odi, regarding contractors, photograph their ID, vehicles, photograph their tag. That comes in from Ryan Spartanburg. Yes, another text came in and said, real contractors have no problem in giving you any of the IDs that you need. And that's true. Another texter says, Odi, I saw a lot of state power trucks working on the lines. They're ramping up the efforts to get the power back on. Yes, they are. 100% they are ramping up all of their efforts to get power back on because, as I said, they've got people to go to. They've got their wives, their kids, their husbands, their boyfriends, girlfriends, their dogs. They've got people back in their houses, which are probably not even around here. You know, I was looking at Haywood Mall earlier on. Haywood Mall they're after giving their parking lot to the energy companies. I counted, there was at least 55. I lost count after that. They look like campers. They're the trailers off a semi truck. They're in the parking lot of Haywood Mall, and it's accommodation for people that are working on the roads, working on the power lines, working to get everything back together again. I mean, to see everybody coming together for that kind of help, that's amazing. Earlier on today, I was talking to Shale Remene. She's from the Anderson County Sheriff's Department. She's the Public Relations Officer. And this is what she had to say to me earlier on. Joining me on the line now is Shale Romain, the Public Relations Officer in Anderson County Sheriff's Department. What is the biggest problem that we're facing so far today?
Well, I would say the biggest issue right now is all the power outages that we're still continuing to see. Anderson County sits at about 75% without power. So that's roughly about 80,000 homes that are still in the dark tonight. So really the biggest thing is if we can ask drivers to not be out on the roads tonight. You just don't know until you're right up on it where the debris is, where down power lines might be, trees, things like that. So I know people really want to get their power back on, and we just ask you to pay attention to your neighbors if they need things, and really, pack your patience, because we are in this all together. But crews are working as quickly as they can. When, Helene first hit, there was about 95% of the county that was completely without of power. So they have made substantial progress and continue to do so.
Have you any advice for people to stay away from power company workers?
Yes, I know there's a lot of confusion as far as trees being down and why they haven't been removed. That will be the very last step. So once they've been pushed out of the roadway, we move on to other areas to get things out of the road. Now, with that being said, sometimes there are cases where trees are entangled in power lines, and it's crucial that our crews don't touch that until Duke Energy or whatever power company comes out to make sure that line is not active in any way, and then they can remove the debris.
And what should people do when they come to intersections where traffic lights normally would be running perfectly, but now the power isn't going to the traffic lights?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've seen a lot of times where the power lights might be on in certain, street lights will be on in certain roadways, and then you go a block up and they're down. So anytime you come across that, be sure to treat that as a four-way stop, and just be mindful of people, maybe other people not stopping in those roadways, and to just be cautious. Right now, we're all dealing with kind of defensive driving just because we don't have those lights up right now.
A lot of people may be calling 911 for small little emergencies. Is there any number that you can suggest they could call for more information, or if they just want to report something, but it isn't a full emergency where there hasn't been an incident, an accident, or anything happened, people just want information?
Absolutely. A really good tool to have on hand right now is the ACSC Gov app. They can download that in the App Store or Google Play, depending on what phone you have. And it's a great tool because if we know of a certain road that is a problem, you can submit almost what's comparable to a work order for our crews to be aware that that road is an issue. It allows you to snap pictures and put it directly in that app. And then obviously with people reporting the same things, it allows us to not double down in certain areas. It just allows us to be aware of every single issue throughout the county. There's maps in there. It's a very good tool to have on hand, and we should have more of that on our social media pages through emergency management. Emergency management officials have been working really around the clock inside of our emergency operations center as well. They just had 2 tractor trailers full, so 18 wheelers of bottled water brought directly to the Honea Pass and Belton areas because they're dealing with, unfortunately, a boil water advisory. So there's really no water to speak of. So they've brought that in, and we have 2 sites that are set up for people to get water, 1 case per family for South Main Street in Honea Path, as well as Leda Poor Park in Belton.
Shale Romain, the Public Relations Officer in Anderson County Sheriff's Department. Thank you very much for taking the time to have a conversation with us today. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. So there you have it. That's from Anderson County. People are asking me, what about Spartanburg, Odi? What's happening there? Well, there is 100. Now, this is reported. As I say, we had texters texting in earlier on letting me know that not everything on the map isn't 100%, that there's probably a little bit more because people need to report them. But coming in on the power outages in Spartanburg, there is 151,000 homes in Spartanburg County that do not have, they just don't have anything. Boiling Springs in particular, there is 10,000 homes without power. There's a lot out there. People on the text line saying that We need some of those. Oh yeah, Spartanburgs. Yeah, they don't have the oh yeah. So give me 1 second. I will go in here and I will look for the co-op one. I was checking it again. The Blue Ridge Co-op says there is 3,500 in Spartanburg County. So they're there. Look, the good folks are on the roads. They're still out there. They haven't gone home. Well, they're doing it in shifts. There's guys out there. There's guys out there working nonstop. There's people working on the power lines 24/7. I guarantee that. They're not stopping. They're keeping going. They're trying to get everything right for you. They're trying to get your house back in power. They're trying to get your phone lines back in power. We only here in the station we only got our phone lines back up today. They're trying. They're doing their best. They're working as best as they can. Texter text into me, Odi, four-way stops. People need to be patient and courteous. Yes, they do. 100%. Listen, you may stop. You might stop on a four-way, but the other person may not. So please be careful. When I come back, I'm going to be talking about the water levels in the lakes because we've had a lot of water. And I was talking to the SCDNR and they gave me a little bit of news for you. So I'm going to let you know that when we come back. You're listening to News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. So far, there's been 25 people have lost their lives here in South Carolina, and people are texting me in. A lot of people are texting in that why did we get hit so bad here in South Carolina? We didn't get it that bad in Georgia. We didn't get it as bad as some. And I hate to say it, we didn't. We got it really bad. There's a lot of people are struggling out there now, and I understand that. I 100% understand that. But we didn't get it as bad as some people. In Asheville, North Carolina, that has been declared a disaster area. A disaster area. That's like, you can't go to Asheville. There's bridges being swept away. There's cars being swept away. The water levels have risen so much. It's just, it's like, it's not me using it. It's people have said it's a disaster area. People are texting me in as well, and they're asking about water boiling advisories. Pretty much everywhere. I've had Spartanburg County has had a water boiling. Anderson County, Greenville County. I'm getting lots of different sources are telling me that you're better off to just boil the water if you can. People texted me earlier on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line asking me, how are we supposed to boil the water if we don't have any electricity, Odi? Well, talked about it earlier on. We'll go back to the basics. If you've got a fire pit, if you have the means to generate heat safely, and I'm reiterating this, generating heat safely, then you can boil water. If you have have you got a grill? Yeah, you right there. Have you got a grill? Yes, you do. This is South Carolina. We are famous in South Carolina for barbecuing food. You've got a grill. Fire up your grill, put a big pot onto the grill full of water. There you go, boiled water, cleaner water. Got a text in, Odi, just dropped off a generator to my mom's house. At least she's watching DVDs. She is 89 years old and she has dementia. She doesn't understand what's going on. Yeah, that comes in from our good friend Jim. Yeah, no, there's people out there. Look, I've said it so many times. Go out, check in on your neighbors, check in on the people around you. You could have neighbors who don't know what's happening. As Jim said, his mom has dementia. They may not know what's happening. They may not know what's going on. They may try to, I hate to say it, but there's people out there and they may try to put on food. Just imagine if your elderly neighbor who's not really sure what's happening knows that if they turn on their oven and leave it on for 15 minutes and then put some chicken into the oven and leave it for another, I'm not sure. I don't know cooking temperatures. I don't know cooking times, but I'm going to say an hour. Leave it on for an hour. No, and I'm not saying that, but they go back and they take out what they think is a cooked chicken, but it's raw. And then they get sick from eating raw food because they're not 100% sure what's going on. Another text message. Please keep the text coming in. I know we've only a few minutes left in the show, but you can't get to Tennessee. You cannot get to Tennessee on I-40 because it's gone. There is so much of I-40 has just disappeared. It's just gone. It's not there anymore. It's 100% not there anymore. If you have power outages, a lot of people do, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. Only that was a silly thing to say. You have power outages and you need to report your power outages. It's very simple. If you have means to contact them, 800, this is for Duke Energy, 800-543-559. Lauren's Electrical, you can get onto them. Unfortunately, you have to get onto the website. You have to be a member of them to get on to let them report a power outage. If you tell the power companies that there is a power outage, they will do the best to help you. I've said it, and I'm going to say it again. And another thing I'm going to say again is leave the guys and girls to work. If there's people out there, who are looking, they're helping you out. They're cutting down trees. They're fixing power lines. Lineswomen. They're out there. They're doing it. Let them do their work. Don't go running up to them saying, "Oh, I've no power in my house. Why have I no power in my house? My neighbor has power in their house. People 2 blocks down have power in their house." We're all in the same. Seriously, we're all in the same. We're there. We're all there. I'm looking out the window now, and normally I can see loads of lights and loads of electricity. I can't. I'm looking onto Woodruff Road. There's power out. I have to drive home tonight, and I'm praying. There's a couple of intersections I have to go to, and I'm praying that they either have lights on them, or that people are taking their time, or it's late enough that people aren't out and about. Don't go out driving around looking to see what damage is done. There's a lot of damage has happened. There's lots of trees down. Don't become a statistic. Don't become a number. Really don't. 25 people have lost their lives in the last 48 hours in South Carolina. 25 families are missing a loved one. In North Carolina, you have big numbers as well. People have lost their lives in Georgia. Do not. If you do not need to leave your house tonight for the rest of the night, don't. It's Sunday night. What else have you to do? The power's out. Talk to your family. Read a book. There's battery powered lights everywhere. Everybody has a battery powered light in their house. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to hammer home a point, but we are in a crisis. Okay, it's nobody's fault. We weren't prepared for it. As I've said, I've been in South Carolina for 7 years. I've had multiple times there has been warnings of hurricanes and tropical storms, and I'd get worried and I'd be like, "Oh, this is going to go bad." And then all of a sudden, we get a bit of rain. It wouldn't be too bad. But this one is the big one. We weren't prepared for it, but now, now the wheels are in motion. Everything is everybody's going to get through this if we just do the responsible thing and stay at home. If you have to go to work, if your work is necessary and you have to go to work, and if your company is open, the power is on, go and help out as best you can. Don't become a statistic. On the text line, Odi, you're doing. Oh, thank you very much. Said you're doing an amazing job, and they then said Gurav Mahagut, which is the Irish for thank you very much, and I really appreciate that. There's and something else I want to chat to you as well about. I'll be very quick on this one. If you decide to go fishing on any of the lakes, any of the rivers, remember there is a huge amount of water. I was looking at photographs and video of Falls. I think it's Falls Park in Greenville. That was a torrent. That was huge amounts of water. That was, I wouldn't go near it. And if you're going on to Lake Hartwell, remember there is lots of debris, lots and lots of debris has come from the shore and is now in the lake. I know the lake is back up to full pool, but just be careful out there. Be careful on the roads. Mind each other. We're going through a bad time. I've said this before, but this too will pass. It will. Stay safe out there. I'll see you all next Sunday night. Look out for each other and look out for everybody else. Slán Bye. Oh, yeah. Gotta sign off. Sorry, guys. Listen, thank you so much. Oh, look, people are having a conversation on the road. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll be back next week. Please stay safe out there. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.